So now what we are going to discuss about is the language and the voice, right? So you can see here the language that we select by default is English, and our agent is built in English language. So you can communicate with the agent in English, and the agent will reply back in English as well. Since the language from this list, which I can understand and speak fluently, would be English, so that is why I set that to English. But if I could speak Spanish, I can select Spanish, and then the agent would speak in Spanish. And when you try to switch the language, it is going to tell you that the bot will communicate only in the selected language and cannot switch to other language during the conversation. And if you are expecting the bot to switch back and forth between English and Spanish, that is not possible. That is only possible if you are selecting the multilingual settings that I will show you in a minute. But for now, you have to understand that if you set Spanish, you cannot speak in English to this agent, because the agent would understand English, but the agent would reply back only in Spanish, right? So that is the idea. And now it also gives you an option to do a translation if you want to, and I will show you that also in a minute. So I'm going to click close and go here. And here, if I click enable post call translation for the bot, it will open up a window, and here I can toggle this on and set a target language for the translations. So if I toggle this on, I will get two options, either Spanish or English. So for example, if I selected German here, my option to do the translation will be between German and English. So here, if my agent is talking in German, I can get the translation, the summary of the call, and the whole transcript in German language sent to me via email at the end of the call. But if I prefer that summary and transcript in English, I can choose English here, and I can confirm that. Then I will get all the transcript and summary at the end of the call in English. So it depends what sort of transcription you want, in what language you want, and then you can set it accordingly. So this is the way you can set the language for your agent. So if, for example, if I set Spanish, and if I save this, and if I do a testing, and you would see that the first message itself would be spoken in Spanish, right? So let's hear it.
Oye, ¿cómo puedo ayudar?
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Gracias por preguntar. Estoy aquí lista para ayudarte con lo que necesites. ¿En qué te puedo asistir hoy?
All right, so you can see that the agent is able to reply in Spanish. If you are speaking in Spanish, even if you speak in English, it will reply in Spanish. So that is how you set the language. Now, if you want to test it out with any other language, so let's select Hindi now. And you can see the agent's initial message has changed into Hindi, just like it was Spanish before. Now I'm going to save this, and I'm going to try a agent in Hindi.
हे मैं आपकी कैसे मदद कर सकता हूँ?
Hey, आपका नाम क्या है?
मेरा नाम जेसिका है। मैं हाई लेवल टेकी में कस्टमर सपोर्ट स्पेशलिस्ट हूँ। आपकी कैसे मदद कर सकती हूँ?
So now you can see that the agent is now speaking in Hindi, but with a bit of an accent. So it doesn't sound like a native speaker, and even the Spanish did not sound very native. So the reason is that we are selecting a standard voice, and we are not selecting any specialized voices. So if I'm using language as Hindi, and if I want to get the right Indian accent, I can select Indian, and then I would get two of these options. If I select this,
अब यहाँ हो, बाद में कहीं और हो, क्या इसमें इतनी उलझन है?
So if I select one of these options, then my voice output would be much nicer. So similar is the case with Spanish or any other language. So if I go to Spanish, and then I select the right flavor of Spanish, if I want a Mexican Spanish or Latin American Spanish, I can select these, or I can also opt for a standard Spanish, which might appeal to a wider audience. So I can select that, and then I get a few options here, and then I can select one of these options.
Es fatal entrar en cualquier guerra.
So that is how you would pick a language and pick a voice that suits that language. Because if you are going to go with the standard voice without changing it, it might not sound very native, and people can really understand that this is actually an AI. So if you really want to make it human and as close to native language as possible, you have to pick the right voice. And to pick the right voice, you have a bunch of options here. You can select it by the language, you can select by accent, and you can also select it by gender. And then you would get the options here. And you can also toggle on the high quality voices, and then you will only find high quality voices. These high quality voices are coming from 11 Labs. So the quality of data that this voice is trained on, the length of speech, expressions, and such is really high quality. So that is what these high quality voices are. You can pick the high quality voice if you want, or any other voice that is available to you on this dashboard. These are all pretty much coming from 11 Labs. So pick a voice and pick a style that resonates with you, and you are pretty good to go. So now you also have an option to bring custom voices from 11 Labs if you want to. And the custom voice can also mean that you can bring your own voice if you want to, if it is available inside 11 Labs and it is made public. So what do I mean by that? So if I go into my voices here, and you can see that I can add custom voice. If I click here, it will tell you that you can add up to 10 custom voices. And to add that custom voice, you have to search here, or you can add the custom voice ID from 11 Labs. And it also tells you that enter a voice URL or search below. To discover more, check out the community here. So if you click here, and if you are logged into 11 Labs, it will take you straight into 11 Labs like so. And then you can go and pick a voice that you like and click on this 3 dots, and you can copy the voice ID. And all you have to do is come back to this page and type that ID, and it will do the search, and you can play to verify it.
Imagine you are alone on a cool, dark night.
And if you like it, you select that and click on import voice, and that voice will get added into your dashboard. So I also told you that you can bring your own voice if you want to. So the way to do that would be go into HighLevel again. And in here, you can clone your voice. You can see here, there is an option to create or clone a voice, and you can clone the voice based on your voice clip, and it will generate a quick voice clone from your voice. Once you clone that voice, you can make that voice a public voice. So you can see these are all public voices. And once you make that public voice, you can simply go and copy the ID of your own voice and come back and do the same process, and you can bring your voice into 11 Labs. So if that is something that you want to do, you can do that, but the catch is that you have to make your voice public. But if you want to bring a private voice, you probably have to do with API and stuff like that, but we are not going to talk about that right now. So this is how you would bring a voice from 11 Labs, or use any voice that is already available inside the dashboard. Once you get access to those voices, you simply click here, and you can go to My Voice and select that voice if you want to, or else go into your library and select a multitude of voices that you have access to. So that is pretty straightforward and standard. So that's everything that you need to know about the voices. Now let's go back to language again. So here, so far we were discussing about a single language which you can use, either Hindi, either French, either German and such. But now if you scroll all the way down, you get an option called multilingual. So if you select that, your voice AI bot will become multilingual, and it can switch back and forth between languages. So if that is what you want, this is the option. So let's dive deep into multilingual bot. So if you go here, you have access to 26 languages, and then the last option is multilingual. Under multilingual, you get access to 10 languages, and the agent can switch back and forth among these 10 languages. So those 10 languages are English, Spanish, French, German, Hindi, Russian, Portuguese, Japanese, Italian, and Dutch. So if the user starts speaking in English, the voice AI agent will reply in English. But mid-sentence, if the caller switches to Spanish, then the AI agent will reply back in Spanish. You can change as many times as you want. You can switch to French, German, whatever language you know, you can do that. And then this agent would switch back and forth and reply in that specific language. So that is pretty cool. So let's try that out. So I'm going to select multilingual and click to close this. And here also you will get an option to do the translation. But the difference here is that the translation is only between English and Spanish. You won't get access to any other language for some reason. So if you want to use multilingual language, you can translate either in English or in Spanish. Because the first version of this was actually built for multilingual between English and Spanish, but they have added more languages now. So now there is 10 languages. Earlier it used to be 2 languages, which was English and Spanish. So that's probably why we only have English and Spanish as the translation option. But let's keep it as English for now and click confirm. I'm going to use Jessica, the default voice, for this as well. And I'm going to click save. And now we can go in and run a test call. So let's start a web call.
Hey, how can I help you?
Hey, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, estoy bien, gracias por preguntar. ¿Y tú cómo estás?
आप हिंदी समझ सकते हो?
हाँ, मैं हिंदी समझ सकती हूँ। आपको किस चीज़ में मदद चाहिए?
Konnichiwa.
Va bene, grazie. E tu come stai?
Went for Italian, huh?
Ah, scusa. In italiano si dice come va?
All right. So what other language can you speak? Can you speak Deutsch?
Ja, ich kann Deutsch sprechen. Wie kann ich Ihnen helfen?
En français?
Hey, just checking in. Are you still there? Let me know how I can assist.
What other language can you speak?
You can speak with me in English, Spanish, French, German, Hindi, Portuguese, Japanese, Italian, Dutch, or Russian. Let me know which one you'd like to use.
Can you simply say hi in all languages?
Sir, here's a simple hi in different languages. English, hi Spanish, hola French, bonjour German, hello. Hindi, namaste, namaste, Portuguese, hola. Japanese, konnichiwa, konnichiwa, Italian. Ciao Dutch, hello. Russian, privet, privé. Let me know if you'd like help with anything else.
Arigato.
Is there anything else you'd like help with?
Didn't pick up that one. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for reaching out and have a great day.
All right, so now you see that how the agent is switching back and forth between languages and replying in different languages with ease. And the only issue you might find is that doesn't sound very native because we are using the standard voice. What you can do in that sense is that if you know that your audience is going to be majority Spanish people and English people, then you can pick a voice that's suitable for that situation. You cannot take care of all the situations. And so whatever works for you, whatever works in the most situation, you pick that and you build your agent around that idea. If your client base is mostly Italian, you could probably pick a voice that sounds Italian, and then it can also take care of English as well. When it speaks in Italian, it will sound natural and native. So that is something that you can look into if you are building a multilingual bot. So that is all about languages and voices. In the next lesson, we are going to talk about the LLM models, or the brain behind all the voice AI agents. So I'll see you in the next lesson.